One of the things that I'm going to be covering in this series is how do you get along with other people? How do you get along with that bloodsucker of a boss who wants to squeeze every ounce of blood out of you and only pays you minimum wage because it's the law? How do you get along with that lazy, irresponsible employee who wants all the benefits and do none of the work, who thinks they ought to show up when they want to, where they want to, how they want to, and do what they want to? How do you get along with that person? How do you get along with that man I'm married to that no human being alive could ever tolerate? How do you get along with that woman? I don't know how anybody can. How do you handle that irresponsible, lazy teenager? How do you get along with all of these people? Well, we're going to look at how you do all of those things. How many of you would agree in this live audience that that's going to be extremely valuable information to you? Because you know some people like I have just described, okay? Laurie got this phone call from this lady in Birmingham, Alabama. After the phone call, she said to me, you know, Zig, the lady thinks she's got an incredible problem. I think that you could probably solve it in 5 minutes if you can meet with her when you get to Birmingham. I said, well, Laurie, I'll get there early, invite the lady to come backstage, we'll have a little chat. When the lady came backstage, and incidentally, I don't do counseling. I'm not trained for it. I don't have the time for it. My natural inclination is to believe everything the last person I talk to tells me, and that doesn't make really for professional counseling, you know. But if somebody says, I got a problem, if I got 5 minutes, I'll give it my best shot, that's all I can do. Well, when the lady spotted me, she came walking across the stage, and I have never seen such anger in my life. I mean, the stage was rattling. Now, I'm not going to say she was overweight, but she's about 5.5 inches too short. When she saw me, she almost literally started crying. Oh, I'm so glad to see you. I got this terrible job. I just hate it. I want out of it. Can you help me? She's the kind of lady that could brighten up a whole room by leaving it, if you know what I mean. Now, in my own mind, I could well imagine this lady thinking that I was going to verbally put my arm around her and say, yes, my dear, life is tough, but you got to hang in there, and by and by things will work out okay. I could have done that, but if I had, I would have betrayed everything in which I believe. If somebody says help, I believe I'm supposed to help. Now, as I said, I don't do any counseling, but I'm so fortunate I have access to some of the really outstanding minds in this country. I check things out psychologically, physiologically, and theologically before I record it, write it, or verbalize it, and have strong endorsements from all three disciplines. There's one thing I do know about counseling, and that is that most people who come to you with a problem do not want a solution to the problem. What they want to do is they want to tell you about it, 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 you about it. And if you foul up the deal and solve the problem, then they can't tell you again, you again, you again, and you again. They want to talk about the problem. They do not want to solve the problem. I had very few minutes. I knew I had to get her attention, so I said, yes, and you know, ma'am, the sad thing is, I believe your situation is about to get a whole lot worse. Had I hit her in the face with a bucket of ice water, I could not have stunned her more. She said, what do you mean? I said, I believe that your company is going to fire you. Fire me? Why on earth would they fire me? You know, isn't it the truth that people who are the problem never recognize they are the problem? They're in complete denial. They think denial is just a river in Egypt. I mean, they are, you know, they're just not with it. You know, no snowflake ever blames itself for the blizzard. No raindrop ever blames itself for the flood, but each plays a part. Every person in life either builds or tears down. Why would they fire me? I said, ma'am, I don't believe there's a company in America big enough to sustain this much poison in one small spot. And all of a sudden, the job she hated everything about, all of a sudden takes on a little different hue and value. She said, well, what am I going to do? I said, do you really want to know? She said, yeah, that's the reason I came to you for help, but you sure haven't been much help so far. And I said, well, ma'am, I got an idea. I believe it'll work. And if you will do it, I know it will work. She said, well, tell me about it. I said, when you get home tonight, I want you to get a sheet of paper out. And I want you to make a list of all of the things you do like about your company and the people down there. She interrupted me. She said, that'll be easy. I don't like nothing about that company. Don't like nothing about those people down there. And I said, well, let me ask you a question. Do they pay you for working there? Well, she said, of course they pay me for working there. I said, you don't like to be paid for working. Well, she said, I certainly do. I said, then you like to be paid. She said, of course. I said, well, that's one thing you like about your job. She said, well, certainly. I said, a minute ago you said that there wasn't nothing you liked about the job. Well, I didn't know you was talking about that. I said, well, don't you think money's important? She said, yeah. I said, okay, let me ask you the second question. Do they pay you above average, below average, or about average for what you do? Well, she said, I got to confess, they pay me above average. I said, and don't you like to be paid above average? Well, she said, certainly I do. I said, tell you what I want you to do. I want you to get that sheet of paper out right now. We're going to make a list of all of the things that you do like about your job. Well, she just sat there. I said, no, go ahead, get paper out. We'll make a list right now. She just sat there. I said, ma'am, let me tell you what my experience in life has been. People that won't take step one never take step two. Now, if you're unwilling to get involved in solving your own problem, we might as well terminate the interview. See, I can't solve your problem as you listen to this. I can give you some ideas, some information that will put you in better position to solve it. But I cannot solve your problem, nor can anyone else. We can give you ideas and information, but ultimately the solution has got to be there. She didn't want any part of having to solve her own problem. That's the reason I did that. I said, you got your notebook in your hand, open it up, let's take some notes. With anger, she opened the book. She said, now what'd you say the first thing I liked about my job was? I said, they pay you for working there. Write it down. I like my job. By the time we got through, this was about 15 years ago, by the time we got through, there were 22 things she liked about her job. She had 3 weeks vacation with pay. She had hospitalization insurance, health insurance. She was on a profit-sharing plan, had a great retirement plan. She was on a bonus program. She was in on executive decision. She lived less than 15 minutes from her office, had her own private office. 22 things. I said, now, ma'am, when you get home tonight, I want you to get this list out. I want you to change it from I like my job because to I love my job. I want you to get in front of the mirror and I want you to look yourself right in the eye and say, I love my job, and do it with enthusiasm. I said, you'll sleep better tonight. When you get up tomorrow morning, get back in front of the mirror before you go to work and look yourself right in the eye and say exactly the same thing, and take the list with you. Because in 24 hours you will have moved from being a fault finder to a good finder. You know, a lot of people look for fault, try to find fault like there's a reward for it. I said, you will begin to look for something good, and you'll be amazed at how much that list is going to grow. Do this every morning, every night for the next 30 days. 6 weeks later, I was back over there conducting a sales seminar. And in the meantime, she had gotten a set of tapes, and she had learned that everybody's in sales. See, the sales department is not our whole company, but our whole company is our sales department. Everybody's in sales. And so when I got there for the sales seminar, there she sat right on the front row, grinning so wide she could have eaten a banana sideways. I mean, she was really excited. And I said, well, how you doing? She grinned even more broadly, and she said, I'm doing wonderfully well, Mr. Ziglar. You cannot believe how much those people down there have changed. So basically, how do you change all those people I'm talking about? You don't. You change you. And when you change you, that's when your world begins to change. See, God said to build a better world, and I said, how? It's such a cold and lonely place, and I'm so small and useless, there's nothing I can do. But God, in all His wisdom, said, just build a better you. That's what this is about, building a better you, because you see, you got to be before you can do, you got to do before you can have. You got such a wide range of choices, and we're filled with them.